Hello, Internet peoples. Between you and me, you should be outside playing in the sunshine instead of watching this bullshit.
Up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. How we ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And we will end your week just like a Sunday. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make them all have fun. Skrillex ablaze the fire, make it fun them. We mash up the place, turn up the bass and make some sound, boy run. And
now this is Far Cry. This was Ubisoft in its absolute prime, pushing the boundaries of what open world games could be, building worlds, creating characters that were iconic. Sure, some things did not age very well, and you might need a computer science degree to run it on PC, but to this day, the way they weave together this world, story, and gameplay is incredible and unlike anything else I've ever played. In Far Cry 3, you play as Jason Brody, a college kid who's been captured and held for ransom by pirates. See, he was on vacation with his friends, drinking completely normal amounts of alcohol. See, they all had the bright idea of going skydiving without the guidance of an instructor. So by the time they hit the ground, it was already too late. Jason was thrown into a cell and terrified for his life. But luckily, his brother Grant was there with him. Now Jason, having never hurt a fly in his life, probably would have just sat here and waited to die. But Grant, who was ex-military, decided they would at least try to escape. As he leads us out, the horror and depravity of this camp is on full display.
My favorite little details in all of this are these pig pens, where there are bones lying in the dirt, implying that these pirates fed the bodies to these pigs as a way to dispose of them.
That, along with this mound of luggage, makes it clear we're far from the first to be captured by these pirates. Jason clearly has never seen anything like this and is barely holding it together. But luckily his brother Grant is here to teach him how to survive. By that I mean he teaches you how to throw a rock, which is somehow the most effective tool against the pirates. You throw one rock and these guys are just bewildered. The two crawl their way out and escape into the surrounding jungle.
Where are we?
Never should have made that jump alone. I promised Dad I'd take care of you two.
Does it say where Riley is?
There are a lot of themes that this game plays with, but at its core, Far Cry 3 is about trauma. When something terrible happens to you, shakes the foundation of your very being, it changes you.
I said, get the f*** out of here, you chicken! Run, Forrest! Run!
Who or what will you become in order to survive, to make sense of and overcome what's happened to you? And when all is said and done, if you make it out alive, was it even you who survived? Or was it someone else? Something else. My name is Oliver Queen. Okay, that got a little tense. It got a little, let's just reel it in a little. That was a little much. What's important to take away here is that our protagonist, Jason Brody, starts off the game as a sniffling little wiener boy. Before all this, he was just a trust fund kid from California. No strong goals in life, probably never struggled for anything. All he wanted to do was party, which is exactly what him and his friends were doing before they got captured. Now, I'm sure it's clear he does not stay that way. It would not be a very fun video game if he did. As a matter of fact, by the end of the game, Jason becomes an unstoppable killing machine. The most terrifying warrior in the jungle, frat boy with a tribal tattoo. Nothing is scarier than this. I've been thinking about getting one too, and then over here, I'll get Rick and Morty, but it's like they're smoking weed and they got hoodies on. You know, they're like calm, but super focused, and then it can say, keep calm, Rick and Morty's on. And then on my back, I'll get a wolf. What really makes this interesting is how Jason becomes that from what he is now, and how they portray that through the narrative and the gameplay. And that journey, my friends, starts with a man named Dennis.
You have the right to take my life. But no, I will also take yours. I am Dennis.
Dennis gives you a tattoo while you're sleeping, which is a totally normal thing to do. The tattoo you get is basically your skill tree. It starts off pretty bare and it builds out as you gain new skills. It's a cool way to tangibly show Jason's evolution. I also saw a fan theory that said all of the events of Far Cry 3 were just a story that Jason made up to say why he got a tribal tattoo. So that is my canon reality. We get up and leave this little hut to find that Dennis brought us to a place called Amanaki Village. In stark contrast to the dark, depraved camp where the pirates held us captive, this place is vibrant and full of life. People dancing and playing music. Kinda. I mean, he's trying his best. He's like doing it in his spirit. There's a strong sense of community here among the people, and when they see you, they not only welcome you, but celebrate your escape.
I have Jason Brody with me, the man who escaped Vast Camp alive.
The people of this village are called the Rakyat, a warrior tribe native to the Rook Islands. They're based on the Maori people of New Zealand, which is why you can hear a New Zealand accent when talking to someone. Now, normally they'll only recruit natives from the island, but they believe the Rook Islands only call to the strongest, so they'll sometimes make exceptions for people who fully assimilate to their way of life. Dennis being the only living example of that, for now. Aside from the non-consensual tattooing, Dennis is our new sensei who will teach us everything we need to know to survive the island, like how to shoot a gun.
I've never shot anyone before.
What do they say in America? Here's the first time for everything.
Dude, they do say that. Don't have one? That's okay. Just get it from the gun vending machine.
Yeah, I'll take an AK-47 and 1911, a 6P9 and 44 Magnum.
They'll teach you how to hunt for food and animal skins.
Where'd you get to? Where'd you get to? Yep, one.
I don't think I'm doing it right, but I mean, it works. You know, so who's gonna stop me, really? Are you gonna stop me? I don't think so. I'll run you over with my car. And I'll teach you how to fix radio towers. The skins that you get from hunting are used to craft holsters, ammo pouches, and a bunch of other things that are essential to surviving on harder difficulties. Usually different items require different animal skins. And the only way to find these animals is to climb the radio towers and reveal them on the map. A feature they likely carried over from Assassin's Creed, except this time, no hay bales. Now this stuff all seems pretty standard for a Far Cry game, but you gotta remember that before this game, Far Cry was a lot different. In fact, the first Far Cry game, released only on PC, wasn't even developed by Ubisoft. It was made by a company called Crytek, who you might recognize for making the Crysis games, the ones that were famous for melting your computer. Far Cry was initially just a tech demo made as a graphics and lighting showcase. But once they saw the potential there, it became a full game. Its story was kind of insane and absolutely blew my mind because you play as a character named Jack Carver, and my name is Zach Carver, born with the name of an action hero forced to be a YouTuber. It's a cruel world.
У тебя, видимо, много вопросов ко мне.
And in the game, you fight a bunch of mutants. It's all very sci-fi. It wasn't open world either. It was just open level and you had options on how to approach. The game was a technical marvel at the time and required a supercomputer to run. But a little company called Ubisoft saw the potential there and did what they do best. Dumbed it down for a mass market. They turned the graphics settings all the way down and released Far Cry Instincts on the original Xbox, which was kind of a port, but a little different. And by a little different, I mean you get mutant powers. There was also this tree branch trap mechanic that was awesome. I don't know why they haven't implemented this since. After they released Far Cry Instincts, they released a sequel to that called Instincts Evolution, which took place a couple years after. And then they released a remaster combo of both Instincts and Instincts Evolution on the Xbox 360 called Far Cry Instincts Predator. I used to watch my dad play both this and Oblivion on the 360 all the time. He still talks about that mission where you gotta run through a field like he's having a war flashback. So this is technically the first, but also the fourth Far Cry game. Like I said, it's complicated history. I'm not even sure I really understand it. Please correct me in the comments if you are old and have too much free time. This first/4th installment was a pretty far cry, bazinga, from the Far Cry we're used to today. It's not funny. Almost no focus on exploration and tons of emphasis on these sci-fi elements. By the end of the game, you're going full beast mode, just slapping people around, running 100 miles an hour. This is not a formula they would stick with for very long, however, because the following game, Far Cry 2, was a little bit closer to what we're used to. Just a lot more intense. It takes place in an open world, and there's really nothing sci-fi about it. Instead of having mutant powers, you get malaria. There was a lot more focus on immersion and realism here. The guns and resources would deteriorate over time, leading your guns to jam sometimes randomly in combat. And the world around you had this dark, gritty color palette. The HUD was extremely limited, with things like your minimap being a physical GPS inside of your car, and any other HUD elements only showing up when relevant. This was actually kind of banger. Can we bring this back? Overall, this was a very hard hardcore, unforgiving shooter experience. And yes, while it had an open world, it was still a fairly straightforward game, with most of the missions being exactly the same. You go to a place, you shoot a guy, and then you gotta go find some malaria pills. It had things like outposts, but they really had no effect on the world, as enemies would just spawn there later after you had cleared it out. It wasn't until Far Cry 3 when they had this strong focus on open world exploration, with things like radio towers revealing the map to you over time, using upgrades and loot as incentives for exploring, doubling down on this outpost idea and allowing you to claim them for your faction and use them as fast travel points. The vibrant jungles of the first game and the open world of the second, all wrapped up in a faster paced, more accessible package with a banger story slapped on. As far as open worlds go, it's not the best by any means. It's really just that it was great for the time and had a large impact on all open worlds after. Unfortunately, most of those effects are just game bloat. I personally, when replaying, did not find myself that interested in the open world elements like hunting for treasures or the menial side quests. And it's not because it's bad necessarily, I was just much more wrapped up in the main missions, unraveling more of Jason's story, which I have completely gone off track from, but I will talk about more right now. After completing the tutorial, you get a call on a phone that Jason stole from the pirate king. It's from one of the pirates who has no idea the phone's been stolen, and he accidentally tells Jason where they're moving one of his friends. Now, it turns out the Rocket have been at war with the pirates for a long time, so at this point, their goals align with Jason's. They band together and head for this location. And for the first time, Jason is going to strike back.
Lisa, I'm coming.
This piece of the game acts both as a main story mission, but also the first of many outposts placed around the world. While yes, Far Cry has changed a lot over the years, every single game has retained this play your way style of gameplay, giving you a camp of enemies that you can approach however you want, sniping them off from a distance, using your binoculars to spot each of them, running in guns blazing, or using a turret on the back of a car, or sneaking in and using stealth to pick them off one by one. Playing this game on hard, it can actually be pretty difficult, but it's nowhere near Far Cry 2 levels of hard. A big part of that is the enemy placement is a lot more predictable, and if you're low on health, you can do one of these insane healing animations that I find so funny. There is no limit to this, you can just keep doing it. In one combat, you can pop your thumb back into place like 10 times. We wipe out all the enemies and claim this outpost for the rock yacht, but it seems Jason's friend escaped this camp sometime before we got here. We track her down to this little white house up on a hill. It's quiet, but it looks lived in. There's a little greenhouse off to the side, but it doesn't look like they're growing food. This is Dr. Earnhardt, a goofy, drugged-out old man who will come to help us a lot throughout the game. It turns out Jason's friend Daisy is the one who escaped, and Earnhardt brought her here to save her life. She was poisoned in the jungle while trying to escape, and we need to go find a rare mushroom that will cure her. And when we get down into the cave, we get sprayed with a little bit of crazy juice.
What the hell was that? I just got farted on?
That is the first of many times that Far Cry 3 sends you on a crazy wild drug trip. Things start to grow around you, appear in front of you. Anytime I've gotten high, I just get real scared and stare at the floor for a couple hours. But this is more like entering a dream state. Jason is confronted by voices of those he loves and fears. And when we come to, we find the mushroom and we bring it back to Daisy. And when she wakes up, there's this strange sense of normalcy that puts everything you've experienced up to this point into context, highlighting just how crazy all of this is, and reaffirming that these are just college kids who found themselves in impossible, terrifying circumstances.
I'm glad you made it. It's been really rough.
Jason, what's wrong?
Grant,
Stop.
Daisy.
But Daisy is just the first. Jason came to this island with 6 other people. His brother Grant, his girlfriend Lisa, his little brother Riley, and his friends Daisy, Oliver, and Keith. Grant unfortunately got a big old throat piercing, so he's out, but there are still 4 more being held captive. Dr. Earnhardt agrees, at great risk to his own safety, to allow you to bring anyone you save here to a cave underneath his house. And just before you leave to save the rest, Daisy says something interesting.
Whoever did this, whoever killed Grant, deserves to die.
Damn! That man she's talking about is someone I haven't mentioned much yet, but he is very important. He's on the cover of the damn game. His name is Voss, leader of the pirates. Some people say he is the greatest video game antagonist ever created. Some people, as me, I really like Voss from Far Cry 3. He asserts himself instantly, right at the beginning of the game before you break out of the cage.
What is it, Jason? Jason, what is it? Why aren't you laughing now like you did up there? What, is this not fun anymore? Have I failed to entertain you? You see, the thing is, up there, you thought you had a chance. Way up in the fucking skies, you thought you had your finger on the pussy trigger. But hermano, down here, you hit the ground.
How cool is that shit? This guy is just dope. While you're leaving the camp in the beginning, you can hear in the background he is giving a little monologue. And if you listen in, it is cooler than what most villains in games say directly to your face. And they just throw it in the background. Because every time he touches the screen, it's awesome. And see, here's the thing. If you like Voss, it's really because you like Michael Mando, the actor who not only portrays him, but created him. When Michael went to audition for Far Cry, the character of Voss did not exist.
I remember when I did the auditions, I had come in with something that I had prepared, and it was really off the hook. It was, I had improvised a lot. I had brought in a lot of my own stuff at the beginning and at the end, and I thought it was pretty risky. And when I was done, there was a silence in the room, and they said, "Could you do it again, but go even further?"
They 3D scanned him into the game and did motion capture for his performances. There might have been a few others, but it's the first memorable experience of an actor being scanned into a game. The way that Voss moves, talks, his expressions, they would not exist if Michael Mando didn't have the balls to walk in there and follow his own vision. And thanks to him, we now have this.
Did I ever tell you what the definition of insanity is? Insanity is doing the exact same fucking thing over and over again, expecting shit to change. That is crazy. But the first time somebody told me that, I don't know, I thought they were bullshitting me, so boom, I shot them. The thing is, okay, he was right. And then I started seeing it everywhere I looked. Everywhere I looked, all these fucking pricks. Everywhere I looked, doing the exact same fucking thing. Over and over and over and over and over again. Thinking, this time, it's gonna be different. No, please. This time, it's gonna be different. I'm sorry. I don't like the way you are looking at me. Okay? You have a fucking problem in your head. Do you think I'm bullshitting you? Do you think I'm lying? Fuck you! Okay? Fuck you! It's okay, man. I'm gonna chill, man. I'm gonna chill. The thing is, alright? The thing is I killed you once already. And it's not like I am fucking crazy. It's okay. It's like water under the bridge. Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, fuck you!
Voss is only in the game for about 20 minutes, but in every frame of screen time, he steals the show. Michael Mando delivers not only the most memorable performance from this game, but in my opinion, from any game. I may be a little bit biased though, I'm just a huge fan of when talented, creative people are given the freedom to do what they want to do. Voss acts as the face of the pirates, so when you're killing one of the pirates, really you're killing an extension of him. And Jason's journey is heavily tied to the story of Voss, even reflecting it in some ways, but you ain't ready to hear all that just yet. It's at this point in the game Voss begins toying with us. When we think we're going to save Lisa, we hear her voice in the caves. It turns out to just be a ransom tape left playing on loop, and all of this a setup.
Where are you?
Jason is once again captured by Voss. Tied up in a room with two of his friends, Voss covers the room in gasoline and sets it ablaze. blasting through the fire, we save Lisa from the building. We get outside and get into a Jeep where Lisa drives us to safety and Jason just starts blasting pirates, screaming for joy. It is clear to both Lisa and the player at this point that Jason is loving it.
Ah! We did it!
Bro, he's just hyped. He's feeling it.
You think almost being killed or sold into slavery is fun?
Hey, Lisa, calm down.
This is a nightmare.
After replaying this game now years later, I did not remember all these iconic, amazing moments happening back to back so fast. Saving Daisy, saving Lisa, encountering Voss multiple times, all happens within the span of like 2 hours. Ubisoft games now seem to have moved in the direction of drip feeding those awesome moments, just enough to keep you hooked up to the milk machine, getting as many hours and microtransactions as they can suck out of your gamer udders. But in this one, the awesome moments just come flying at you like a hawk with an American Eagle cape on it, and there's 50 tanks rolling up the street and 15 fighter jets come screaming down the hill. This is America, baby. Wake up. It's time to go beast mode. The highlight for me, and a mission a lot of you probably remember, was the one where they play that Skrillex song and you get a flamethrower and you've got to go and burn down the weed fields. I remember playing this for the first time. I was wearing my flat-billed Batman hat and a South Pole t-shirt that was bedazzled to hell, and I was just thinking, hell yeah. And then I smoked my first cigarette and skated to McDonald's with my friends, and on the way home, I shit in my skinny jeans. They tell you smoking kills. They do not tell you it is a natural laxative. But yeah, this mission with the flamethrower in the weed fields is awesome. And normally I wouldn't be able to show it to you, but I have gone the extra mile, as you can tell by the intro, and licensed the song for this level so we could experience it in its true glory. Now, here's the thing. Props and how I make videos in general, adding on licensing tracks is not cheap. So if you could just go down, subscribe, like, do all the YouTube stuff. It would really help me out in getting these videos out there. I love making shit like this and giving it my absolute best, and subscribing is the best way to help me do that. All right, now let's just watch it for a second. I mean, I paid for the damn license. I might as well. Hell yeah. Right after we save Lisa, Jason calls Dennis, worried that he's not strong enough to save the rest. And so Dennis introduces him to Citra, leader of the Rakia.
You are brave to joke in the face of death. Fine word. I'll give it back to you, but I cut it off. I thought you liked jokes.
Dennis kind of made it seem like you were helping out freedom fighters, but once you get to the temple and you meet Citra, shit starts to get a little biblical, or mythical, I guess. Spiritual. It's spiritual. Creepy. Freaky. See, Citra isn't just the leader of the Rakia. They consider her their warrior goddess, and her goal is to find the perfect warrior who will bring the Rakia tribe back to its former glory. She takes a liking to Jason, a real liking, and so they, make the beast with 2 backs. Make whoopee. Give one's arse a salad. Banana and a fruit salad. A horizontal tango. Disappointing the wife. Okay. Exploring the hidden valley. No ranch. I guess there might be ranch. Clearing cobwebs in the womb room. Riding the Boney Express. Open the gates of Mordor. The tube snake boogie. Taking grandma to Applebee's. Taking grandma to Applebee's is fucking crazy. They make love, and it's beautiful. The miracle of life. And he go beast mode. Citra sees Jason as a strong warrior, maybe even part of the prophecy, but he has to prove himself by killing Citra's brother, Voss. Holy smokes, the plot thickens. Jason gets really wrapped up in this whole Rakiat warrior thing, and so after killing so many pirates in the name of saving his friends, he becomes not only okay with it, but he starts to like it. The rush of taking a life. And what makes it impactful is that we're the ones pushing the buttons, killing the pirates. In Uncharted 4, there's an achievement you get after killing 1,000 enemies called ludonarrative dissonance. This is an obnoxious gamer word that is used to describe when a game's story and gameplay do not align. The story of Uncharted portrays Nathan Drake as the comical, treasure-hunting criminal with a heart of gold. The gameplay portrays Nathan Drake as the human equivalent of a Predator missile in a populated area. Thousands dead. Thus the achievement, ludonarrative dissonance. There is an opposite term as well, ludonarrative harmony. And this is why Far Cry 3 is so great. Rather than brushing off the wildly violent actions that technically the protagonist is committing and just chalking it up to part of the game, Far Cry 3 embraces it and explores those ideas, posing the question of what would all this killing truly do to the protagonist, uses it to tell a powerful story about trauma and what it can turn us into. A story about how fine the line is between becoming the hero who can save himself and the monster who would bring this fate upon another. It's actually Jason's girlfriend Lisa who notices first that change in Jason, and she tries to acknowledge it at a point when Jason is just too far gone. This fire within him continues to build, consuming everything that he once was. And all the while, this fire is stoked on by Citra and her hunger for power. Jason goes on to kill Voss. And when he does, that's when we realize he is Voss, or at least Jason is what Voss was meant to be. The warrior his sister tried to turn him into, driving him mad in the process. He only went to work for Hoyt, became this pirate lord to get away from Citra. We go to confront him, and in another drug trip, there's flashes of imagery all around. In one moment, it's Jason. In another, it is Voss. Hallucinated duplicates of Voss come running at you in hordes, but eventually we confront him directly. Jason cuts through Voss with the ritual dagger, and when he falls, Voss's eyes dart to meet Jason's, fully cementing the transfer of fate and the fact that Voss will always be a part of Jason now. He's fully done it. He's gotten revenge for his brother and the capture of his friends, but it's not enough. Jason falls unconscious and wakes up in the arms of Citra. She sets his eyes upon a new enemy, Voss's employer Hoyt. Though at this point, Jason saved all of his friends and they finally repaired the boat. They're free to go home.
Because the boat's almost
But that's
fixed. We get to
not
go home.
what Jason wants anymore.
I'm not going.
What?
What are you talking about?
The beginning of this journey was defined by survival, just making it out alive. And that was achieved. Then it became about protecting loved ones, saving them from a terrible fate. Jason saved them all. And then revenge, killing the man responsible for all of this. Voss is dead. So what now is the goal? Justice? When you travel to Hoyt's island and begin decimating his soldiers, it doesn't feel like justice. It feels like wrath. You tear through them mercilessly. And this part of the game is pretty much soured by the fact that you're not the good guy anymore. Soured in a good way, a compelling way. It all comes to a head when Jason infiltrates Hoyt's ranks, disguised as one of the soldiers. He begins working his way up, and to prove himself, must torture one of the prisoners. But when you get down there, you see that this prisoner is Jason's little brother, Riley. Now, previously, we were told that he died, so this comes as a bit of a shock. But it doesn't matter that this is his brother. At this point, all Jason cares about is achieving his goal of killing Hoyt. And so he goes through with the torture anyway. It's brutal. And to top it all off, Jason sticks his thumb into Riley's bullet wound in a moment that perfectly parallels the beginning of the game. Jason's older brother Grant getting shot in the throat, and you have to hold down a button to put pressure on the bullet wound. And that button prompt slowly fades along with his life. That really was the moment that everything changed for Jason, when his protector died and he had to become his own protector. And now you have to hold down that same button to dig into your little brother Riley's bullet. In this moment, it becomes clear to Jason how far gone he truly is.
Who have I become?
And then Jason blows everything up with a rocket launcher. He kills Hoyt. He gets his little brother out of there. It's Far Cry. It's awesome. You get to shoot a minigun from a helicopter. Another hell yeah moment. Can I get a hell yeah? Hell yeah! Okay, time for a not so hell yeah moment. When you return to the first island and go to Dr. Earnhardt's house, it's been set on fire, and Dr. Earnhardt is laying on the ground, dying.
They carried your friends to the temple.
You rush to the temple to confront Citra, and once again, another drug trip, baby. If you remember in the beginning, I said the Rakyat only allow outsiders to join if they fully assimilate to their way of life. And in this case, that means fully destroying every trace of who you once were. Your friends never made it off the island. And when you come to, you're holding a knife to Lisa's throat, with Citra egging you on in the background, telling you this is the only way.
No, Jason, please, 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 Jason, no, no, please.
And at this point, you're given a choice. You choose the ending for this game. And to me, I took this choice more as a philosophical question. Can a man truly come back from his worst day? Can we deny what our traumas, what this world would turn us into, overcome nature, and choose good? A character like Jason has so much blood on his hands. Is someone like that deserving or even capable of going back? My answer is no. You can never go back to who you were before. But good and evil aren't defining characteristics. No, they're choices. Ones that we make every single day. And no matter how lost you've become, even though you can never change what's been done, you can always choose to be better today. In this ending, you spare your friends and deny the monster. Citra weirdly just dies because dude got confused, I guess. And Jason gives a monologue as those kids who've been forever changed sail home.
I've killed so many people, I've lost count. I can't come back from this. I'm a monster. I can feel the anger inside me. But I am still somewhere inside me more than that. Better than that.
But what if I'm a little evil, a bit mischievous, slightly devious? Well, you kill your girlfriend, you and Citra take grandma to Applebee's, and then when you finish, she kills you. You weren't the warrior she was talking about, it was your baby, and she's got it, and she kills you and you die. Bad ending. Yeah, she's crazy. I like the good ending better, but that's Far Cry 3. What a cool game, right? A game does not need to have the gameplay and narrative line up to be a good game. Hell, BioShock is one of my favorite games of all time, and that motherfucking Ludo narrative got some damn dissonance. But damn, does the story hit so much harder when it is woven into the gameplay. The entire experience aligning on this one message. It's powerful and you feel it at the end. Very few games can pull off an emotional journey like this one, but Far Cry 3 did it extremely well, which is why I'm inclined to say that this is the best Far Cry game. Although Far Cry 5 comes pretty close, you can fight me on that. Let me know what you thought about Far Cry 3 down in the comments, or if you thought there was a better Far Cry game. If you like that one, click this big old card to go and watch another one of my videos. YouTube thinks you're gonna like this one. Let's put it to the test. We're gonna on a Kingdom Hearts video next. Hope you look forward to that. Thank you for 250,000 subscribers. That shit is crazy. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Yeah, click the card.